We'll give folks another about 30 seconds to hop in before we get started. Thank y'all for being on time. All right, so thank you all again for being on time and joining us for another series, a wonderful series of Workforce Wednesday. We have a wonderful guest with the organization Growth Sector, and I'm going to just jump in and read his bio. So Gabe Hanzel-Sello, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. All right, thank you, is the National STEM Director and manages all aspects of the organization's programs across 30 community colleges and universities nationally. Gabe has seen the organization grow exponentially in scope and impact from his start with Growth Sector in 2012, when he managed one of the organization's 3 cohorts as student support specialist. Prior to joining Growth Sector, Gabe has worked for multiple nonprofit organizations, including YMCA of San Francisco and Enterprise for high school students. In these roles, Gabe provided services to Bay Area constituents in the areas of after-school programming, youth leadership, college counseling, and youth workforce development. Through these varied experiences, Gabe has gained significant appreciation for the importance of clearly defined, structured, and support pathways for program participants. Gabe has a bachelor's degree from San Francisco State University in English, creative writing, and he lives in the East Bay and enjoys exploring kayaking with his family and playing soccer whenever he can. Please give Gabe a warm Q welcome, and I will pass it over to you.
Right on. Thank you so much, Raina, and good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I really, thanks for that. I see the emojis, the claps, appreciate it. I'm really happy to be here to talk about our program, specifically about the program we're opening a site at Contra Costa College. So I'll share some slides, but please know I'm a informal guy. You can stop and interrupt me or throw a question in the chat. Really the main thing is for you all to get any questions you might have answered. So my plan, I have a brief slide deck and can run through it. It should probably take less than 10 minutes, and then we'll have a few moments for questions. So let me share my screen and get us rolling here. Everybody can, you guys can see the slides okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Growth Sector's signature program is the STEM core pathway to engineering degrees and careers. And it's really all about, we know that engineering jobs pay well. Sorry, what was that? Okay, maybe just some background noise. We know that in the Bay Area, folks with bachelor's degrees in engineering, start out at $85,000 a year salary and above. And Growth Sector really exists to try and create pathways to those high wage, high growth jobs that can sustain families here in this crazy cost of living region. For anybody, regardless of anyone's academic or work history. Just so you know, I'm just down the road here, and I'm in El Cerrito. I'm a Bay Area native, so as well as you all really understand what it takes to, to raise a family and to survive here. And so the STEM core program, we'll get into the details and all the requirements, but again, the main point is really connecting folks to economic success in a changing economy. There's a lot of workforce development programs out there, and a lot of them lead to good jobs. Our program, we think, leads to that bachelor's degree and really lifelong economic stability in their families through that bachelor's degree. Growth sector has a lot of partnerships with community colleges, with employers, with government that we'll talk about. But again, the goal of our program is to provide a pathway for wherever students come into community college that's paid, so multiple opportunities for paid work experience, that's supported, so a full-time individual looking after a cohort of 20 people at the college, that helps students realize the opportunities that are out there, so direct engagements with employers, and paid internships leading to transfer and ultimately the 4-year degree. Here's some of the employers that we're working with currently. Growth sector, one of our strongest partners is Caltrans, the California State Department of Transportation, but we are working with a number of other, national labs, and you'll see Tesla on here and other large engineering employers. This is, I think hopefully the meat of the presentation, outlining our program. And again, we're going to have a cohort starting at Contra Costa College this summer. So really, really excited. The idea, again, is to create a pathway for whatever individuals have been up to, either academically or professionally, from the starting point of community college, leading to transfer to bachelor's degrees and to career engineering employment. I'll walk through these steps, and then we can talk a little bit more about what's going to be happening this summer at Contra Costa College. So the first step is that summer bridge program. It's a 6-week program, and it'll take place at Contra Costa College. Growth sector is doing this around about 10 other places around the country. So we have, a program at Laney in Oakland, and Ohlone in Fremont, and Evergreen in San Jose, and City College of San Francisco, if those locations are better suited for anyone or anyone's friends. We're currently recruiting for all those sites right now. And the summer bridge is really a chance to get folks grounded on the community college and set up for success when the fall classes start. Again, it's a 6-week program. It's usually about 9:30 a.m. to 3:30. The morning is spent doing math workshops with community college faculty. So faculty, it's not a class, there's no grade, but just getting folks up to speed so that when they start those credit-bearing courses in the fall, they're ready for that. And we've seen great success for folks coming in and getting this kind of what we call just-in-time development. We have people in our bridge program who graduated high school and came straight to college. We have individuals in their 40s and 50s who've been in the workforce. We have veterans returning from service. Any and all types are eligible for the program. So mornings doing math, and then afternoons working with engineering faculty at the college to do hands-on projects, really starting to understand, how does engineering look in the world? And we'll have a particular focus on civil engineering, because that's what many of our internships and apprenticeships are in civil engineering. So you could imagine, building roadways and bridges, designing the bus stop of the 21st century, using AI or programming to test materials for strength, all those things. Individuals, again, are paid $1,500 over the summer, and then they'll get a $250 stipend for registering for the fall classes, and another $250 stipend after a check-in after the fall semester, so like in December. The idea, we're really looking for individuals who would do the summer bridge program as kind of the first step in a longer term journey. So, do the summer bridge and then enroll at the college. And I would just emphasize again, this program is really meant to fit any and all types. There's no math or engineering tests to get in. It's really meant to serve students or individuals wherever their starting point is. After the summer bridge, folks proceed as a cohort into classes at the community college in the fall. Most students would take a math and an engineering class together, and then maybe 1 or 2 classes on their own. Students right away begin thinking about internships. So, what is that next paid opportunity to earn money for work experience? And we have 2 main types of internships that individuals can apply to. One would be an internship at a university. So at San Jose State, we're trying to get some at San Francisco State. And the San Jose State ones, so are hybrid, so like 1 day a week in person. But individuals work in a small group of students with the university faculty on a civil engineering or an engineering related project. So this summer, our students are going to be working with faculty to design roadways for traffic jams. They're working to test the strength of different materials used in structures. They're working, I think one is working on an implant for artificial vision, so like a bioengineering project. But again, most of them are civil engineering or environmental engineering related. And they all pay $20 an hour. So the university internships are 8 weeks, so it equals $6,400 over the summer. And then we have another type of internships that go straight to an employer. So an individual could go to Caltrans and work for Caltrans for the summer, or go to Lawrence Livermore National Lab. We're working with Contra Costa Transit Authority. We're trying to get connected to BART and other public utilities, where folks would get paid $20 an hour minimum, sometimes more, for 10 weeks, so $8,000 on an internship. And some students may even have the chance to do a university internship and then an employer-based internship, which is like a really great combination. At that point is when the apprenticeship starts after the employer-based internship. Ideally, students will be hired by the employer and working part-time in an engineering assistant role while they're attending school. So part-time during the year and then full-time during summer breaks. This would provide students the opportunity to earn, $20,000 a year as they're proceeding towards transfer and a bachelor's degree. It also gives students a connection to the employer directly. So, many of our students before the apprenticeship, they're working in retail, they're working in service, they're working in, after school programs, anything, but usually not always related to engineering. The idea here is that students would have during that apprenticeship of 2 to 3 years, while they are, or even 3+ years, while they are going to school, they're working for an employer, they're getting that critical technical experience, and then when they graduate, Caltrans currently has 1,000 jobs just for folks with bachelor's degrees in engineering. So the hope, and Caltrans is really saying, individuals after completing the apprenticeship will really walk into employer-based, employment. I think starting at 85,000, but going up quickly from there. And Caltrans particularly is public sector, so they still have a pension and all those really high quality retirement benefits. But we are also working with some private sector employers too, who are very interested in bringing on individuals. So this kind of pathway, these main components really make up what we call the STEM core pathway to engineering degrees and careers. Again, I would just emphasize it's a paid program, so the summers have opportunities for paid work. And then additionally, growth sector will have a full-time person at Contra Costa College or the other colleges that I mentioned, who sits in on classes, meets individually with students, helps prepare them for the internships and the apprenticeships and to get ready to interface with employers, probably mirroring a lot of the great work that the Center for Urban Excellence does, and just helping folks, overcome any fears or doubt they may have in beginning to interact with employers. The student support specialist also helps with study skills and making sure folks are getting their needs met in terms of tutoring, financial aid, all the other on-campus supports that exist. Here's just a little bit more about the Summer Bridge program. Again, getting students, the whole idea is to get individuals ready for that fall semester start where they're going to be a full-time student taking courses for credit. 6 weeks, again, the program will take place at Contra Costa College, which I think is the closest for you all, and then some of those other colleges that I mentioned. We are really excited at the opportunity to cast a wide net this year. It's our first year at Contra Costa College. And so my hope is, that if you're interested, great, but please, feel free to tell a cousin, nephew, auntie, anybody. We are actively recruiting for this program right now. We have 20 spaces. Here you can see the flyer for the Contra Costa program. I've sent it to our friends here that are hosting this event. I'm happy to, once I quit sharing my screen, I can throw this in the chat. We have a Spanish version and an English version, and we're really hoping to get out there. I'll stop sharing my screen now, and again, I'm happy to answer any questions that folks might have, and I can look in the chat here. Yeah, and Growth Sector has been doing this STEM core program for 13 years. It's been super impactful. One of the statistics that I always share, 66% of our students get to calculus in 1 year, which is really critical for that engineering pathway. getting to calculus and learning those high level math skills so you can pass the other math and physics courses. That's 66% in our program as compared to just 4% for general students in California. So, we've seen this method of paying students for their experience, bringing them together so they're taking classes together, and then assigning a full-time staff person to support them. It has been really, really impactful. And in terms of the Caltrans and the apprenticeship, we've already seen 7 students go from that internship that paid $20 an hour to being hired as a student assistant by Caltrans. So they're working 15 to 20 hours a week while they're attending community college and transferring to the four-year university. And then in the summer breaks, they're working full-time for Caltrans and making, I think, it's closer to $25 an hour. So our hope really is to provide a paid, year-round, multi-year, structured pathway that takes any individual from wherever they're at to these degrees that lead to high-paying, really career employment.
Thank you, Gabe. That program looks awesome. Anything that offers incentives for milestones coupled with like one-on-one support, in my experience, has just been life-changing for folks to be able to lean on that support if they have any questions. So if you have any questions for Gabe, feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hand. I had a question because I recognize a few of our participants that are on now are currently enrolled in community college. So my question would be, if someone currently has units, say community college units, is there a way that they could use some of those that are appropriate, or would they transfer over to this program?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Raina. Thank you so much, and congrats for any of you, pursuing community college education. I started at a California community college, so I'm passionate about community colleges. Yeah, so all courses are transferable in community college. It's just a question of whether they transfer to engineering. So, if you've taken English, you're going to need that to transfer in engineering. If you've taken welding, that's going to really help you get engineering internships and jobs. If you've taken, like classes to become an esthetician or cosmetologist, super duper life experience. The courses transfer, but you still would need to take all the courses needed to transfer in engineering. But yeah, any like if you took a class at Solano Community College, or even like maybe you came up from LA, any California community college credit transfers. So that's really nice. And the other thing I would add, Raina, for so many of us, like coming up, we maybe struggled in math, or like, frankly, public school guy here, like maybe we didn't have the best math teachers. Maybe folks told us that like, we should think about something that takes less training than a bachelor's degree in engineering. And again, I didn't say this in the beginning, but like that's really, why Growth Sector exists, is to provide this pathway for folks who may not have, had that opportunity. And for some of us, like the light bulb clicks when we're 11 and we decide we want to be engineers, and that's dope, like great. But for some of us, we're 21 or 31 or 41. That's great. And I just, we do a lot of work with our students to help them understand, individuals who are getting A's in 11th grade math are no smarter than individuals who aren't. It's, oftentimes just a different mindset. I'm not going to lie, there's a reason that these engineering degrees pay a lot. It's hard work. But as someone who, ran my own cohort for a number of years and was that person sitting in on classes with students, I've never seen a student show up for class every day and spend an hour on homework every night and not pass. So I do really think sometimes, folks come up in communities where we don't know a lot of engineers and we don't think about that as an option. But we know hard work, and we know how it is to show up on time and to problem solve. And that's all that this is. It's just, packaged into these courses is really like intensive problem solving. So I didn't say it at the beginning, but we wanted to make sure that folks are feeling like this is open, even if you've never considered STEM, technology, engineering, any of those things.
Thank you. And I know you mentioned that past the 6-week pre-apprenticeship starter, The goal is for folks to enroll into Contra Costa College for that fall enrollment. How many units are folks expected to take?
Yeah, so folks are expected to take, it's going to be 8 units. It's an engineering class and a pre-calculus class. The pre-calculus class is 5 units because it includes an hour of like basically support or tutoring from the math faculty, which is good. Growth Sector would encourage folks to pursue full-time if they can, because it's already a 5-year pathway. But we are open. And then I'm glad you brought that up, Brandon. Just to be clear, I can talk a little bit about the application process. So if folks are interested, there's a QR code. I mean, you can email me, like text me, whatever. We're looking for you. So if you're interested, let me know. There's a really brief online application, like 5 minutes, Google form, name and email, and maybe a couple sentences about why you're interested. And then there's a brief interview with our staff person. And the main point of the interview is just to make sure that folks are set up for success and they understand what they're signing up for. And we really are recruiting folks who are going to commit to attending community college in the fall. Today's only March 19th, so that seems like a long way off. That's fine. We could have that interview. That could be up for discussion. But again, we want to incentivize the starting point for this pathway, but not, it's not an isolated experience. Of course, there's no contract, right? Like you come in and you do the program and decide engineering is not for you, or life circumstances prevent you from attending college. Like we're not trying to ask for the money back. It's nothing like that. It's just we really are looking to recruit folks who have an interest in this longer term pursuit. And I would emphasize there's no age limit. Even when we talk to our employer partners, they constantly tell us, if they can have an employee for 3 or 4 years, that's what they're looking for. So we often get that question from folks who are closer to retirement age, and we just are really clear that I think that this is an opportunity for them too.
Thank you. So Gabe has provided us with very valuable information, gave us a lot to think about and to look over and really talk to, our families, our partners, to see if this could be a viable option. So last chance for folks, if you have a question, you can feel free to drop it in the chat or raise your hand and you can come off mute.
Oh, look at that. You guys, it's automatic $500 from Q for the fall. Exciting. Thank you for throwing that in there. I would just add too, if this conversation like maybe is interesting in terms of an engineering pathway, but you can't commit for the summer or you're not ready to commit for the fall. I'm just an advocate of folks having all the information and definitely understanding what's out there in the community college. I would be happy to talk with anyone individually or Raina with any small groups just about what it means to go to community college. Many of us would get free tuition from community colleges currently. And so even if it's like, hey, I'd like to dip my toe in the water, what's a good way to do that? But I need to keep my full-time job. I'm happy to have those conversations too. It's not just about our program, but what can we do to get folks into families, jobs that will support us and our families.
Yes. Oh, and we appreciate you for saying that. All right. So it looks like we have, you did such a wonderful job, Gabe. Very clear and thorough. Folks don't have any questions. But we do have all of your material and information, and we will definitely share that with everyone who's on tonight via email. So before we get out of here one more time, can we please give Gabe a thank you for taking the time to share all of this with us this afternoon. And we appreciate you and thank you for joining. That was Workforce Wednesday. So hopefully we can have you on in the future as well.
Yeah, thanks. You get super kind, Raina, but y'all are the ones who should be thanked for showing up in the evening. I know we all have lots of commitments pulling us each other our different ways. So happy to be here and look forward to being in touch. Let me know what I can do to support.
All right. Thank you so much.